Good afternoon, students. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, in first theory lecture, what we have seen, what are the topics that we are going to cover under the engineering physics course, and in that you have seen our first unit is related to the optics term or one special branch of physics that is nothing but the optics. Okay, so today we will start with our first unit, which is the optics. Okay, so in optics, what we are going to see, basically for the first point that we are going to see over here is related to electromagnetic waves and electromagnetic spectrum. So what are the electromagnetic waves? What is their classification, on what basis that classification is done, that we are going to understand with the help of this particular point. Next to that, as I have already said in the first lecture, this optics unit is related to three different optical phenomena. So that phenomena that we are going to discuss over here, that are interference, then diffraction and polarization. In case of interference, the syllabus or the points that we are going to see over here, they are related to the Newton's ring experiment. Like the interference pattern that you have studied at the 10+2 level, that was a linear pattern, linear interference pattern. Here we are going to see the specialized case of interference, and that is through one experiment known as Newton's ring experiment. So first we will understand what is that experiment, and then of course, as I said, we have to see what are the applications of the Newton's ring experiment, or basically what are the applications of interference that we are going to see in this particular unit. Okay, next to that, the second point that we are going to cover over here is the diffraction. So in diffraction, the points are, what is the diffraction of light? Of course we are talking about the light related phenomenon. So diffraction of light we are going to see over here. Then to get a diffraction pattern, some special kinds of instruments are required. So what are that instruments that we are going to see? Then properties of that instrument and applications of the same we are going to deal with. Next, in polarization, we have to see what is the polarization concept, how polarization can be achieved. After getting polarization, what different properties one can study with that, and of course the application of polarization concept. So this will be the portion, or this will be the syllabus for your unit number 1, which is nothing but the optics. Okay, so now the first thing that we are going to see, like in first lecture we have discussed what is optics. Optics is nothing but one branch of physics which basically deals with the light interaction and light behavior. Okay, so whatever is the study related to light interaction, light behavior, different properties of light, and different applications of light propagation, all that are studied under the branch of physics known as optics. Now before going towards our first point, I would like to ask you people, in your schooling time or in your 10+2 curriculum, you have seen certain theories of light. So the first important theory, what was that theory that I would like to ask you? And basically two, as I said, two important theories are there. So what are that theories, who have given that theories, and what is the conclusion of that theories? That is the first question that I would like to ask to you people. What are the two important theories with respect to light? Basically they are related to the properties of light or behavior of the light, or constitution of light. Yes, can I get answer from any of the student? Today I can't see your chat box, so if you are giving answers in the chat box, that I can't see today. So unmute yourself and give the answers. Yes.
Ma'am, wave theory of light.
Yes, wave theory, of course, that is the correct answer. Wave theory of light. Who has given the wave theory of light?
Kudus Sheikh.
Yes. No,
Kudus
I'm not
Sheikh.
asking your name. Who
Yeah,
was the scientist who has proposed the wave
scientist.
theory of light? Yes.
Wave theory of light. Ma'am, I don't know about it.
Okay. Any other student? One theory is related to the wave nature of light. One theory is related to particle nature of the light. So again the question, who has given the theory related to the particle nature of the light? I have given the answer. Just you have to give the name of the scientist. Who is the scientist who has proposed the particle nature of light? Is my voice reaching to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, corpuscular theory.
Yes. Corpuscular theory. Who has given the corpuscular theory of light? One famous scientist. Everybody knows his name. Maybe that person will be from physics background or non-physician also knows that scientist very well.
Ma'am, Sir Isaac Newton.
Yes, Sir Isaac Newton has given the theory related to the corpusculars of the light, and he has proposed that whatever light is made up of particles, and that particles are termed as corpuscles. Okay, and with the help of that, Newton has given two optical phenomena that are nothing but the reflection of light and refraction of light. Okay, next to that, the wave theory of light that was given by the scientist. Can anybody give me the name? Okay, so basically corpuscular theory proposed by Sir Isaac Newton, and Huygens theory was given by, of course, the Sir Huygens, who gives or who has proposed that light is nothing but the wave. Okay, so with the help of first theory, that is corpuscular theory of light, one can explain the reflection of light, and with the help of Huygens wave theory, then reflection, refraction, diffraction and interference can be explained. Okay, so basically light is having wave nature, that is given by Sir Huygens. Okay, so these are the two important theories who has proposed earlier, and basically with the help of that, some optical phenomena which are listed over here that can be understood. Okay. So this picture yesterday I have got from the Facebook, and I thought that this is in correlation with our today's topic. So of course, according to Huygens, light is having wave nature. According to Newton, light is having particle nature. But after that, Einstein has proposed not only the particle or not only the wave, light is having dual nature. Means light is having particle as well as wave nature. Okay, and this particular explanation given by this Einstein is very useful when we will proceed with our contents related to the optics. Okay, so light is having dual nature, so that you have to keep in your mind. Okay, so but whatever are
Ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, some students are unable to join.
Okay, just a second. Only one student was there, I think. Okay, we will wait for 2 minutes so that students will able to join. Okay, so basically whatever we have seen, the particle nature and wave nature in combination, whatever are the effects or whatever are the applications that are based upon that two properties of the light wave. But with the help of that, you might have seen you join the lecture on time, then that will be very useful for you and me, because I have taken the Google extension auto admit. But if I start the lecture, if I present the screen, then that gets unable. So again, every time if you people join late, then I have to move to this particular page that you are seeing right now, and then students can admit. But if you log in before time, before 1 or 2 minute time, then that will be very convenient for me to conduct the lecture. Otherwise it creates the disturbance. Okay, so don't do next time. Okay, so hope all people have joined, and I'll again present the screen. Okay, so whatever are the phenomena that we have seen on the first slide, in that one particular phenomenon of light is missing, and that is nothing but the polarization of light. So to explain the polarization of light, again the study has been done, and according to that study it is concluded that light is having electromagnetic wave nature. Of course particle and wave nature it is having, but that waves are nothing but the electromagnetic waves. And with the help of polarization one can explain that again if you see the electromagnetic waves, just a second. So with the help of polarization, transverse wave nature of the light can be visualized. Okay, so first we have to see over here what are the electromagnetic waves, and is the light is only having electromagnetic wave nature, or there are any other waves which possesses same kinds of properties. Okay, so to see that, of course we will see the electromagnetic spectrum. So on the screen you can see one image. That image is related to the electromagnetic spectrum. In that image you can see certain points are there. So I'll take the laser pointer. So the first line is related to the wavelength, then correlation of that wavelength with some materials is provided. Then the third thing that you can see in that image is the radiation type. There are different kinds of waves or radiations which are having electromagnetic wave nature. So what are that waves or what are that radiations, that is provided over here. Then of course as we are saying, these are the waves. So if a wave is there, of course it will have wavelength and it will have frequency, because there is a relation in between wavelength and frequency. So can anybody tell what is the relation in between that two, wavelength and frequency?
Ma'am, wavelength is inverse of frequency.
Yes, inverse relation we can see in wavelength and frequency. So according to that you can see the change in the scale. Next, here it is provided what are the sources through which we can get that radiation, and of course energy that is generated with the help of that radiations. So if you see the radiation type, then you will understand as far as electromagnetic waves spectrum is concerned, there are radio waves, then there are microwaves, then there are infrared waves, then visible waves related to that we are talking right now, then ultraviolet rays, then X-rays and gamma rays. So all these are nothing but the electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves means waves who are having electrical as well as magnetic component in them. Okay, so such kind of waves are provided over here, and they are arranged in a particular sequence by considering their wavelength. And here you can see the wavelength is decreasing from this first point to the lastmost point. Okay, for radio waves you can observe the high amount of wavelength is there, which is in the range of 10 to the power 3 meter. But if you proceed toward the X-rays or gamma rays, you can see for the gamma rays the wavelength is very small, that is nothing but 10 to the power minus 12 meter. Okay, and of course, as we know, the relation in between frequency and wavelength, inverse relation is there. So wherever there is a high amount of wavelength, you can see less amount of frequency over there. Means for radio waves, wavelength is higher and then frequency is lower. For gamma rays, we can say the opposite case is there. Means for gamma rays, wavelength is very small, but the frequency will be larger. Okay, and as I said, the correlation of that wavelength range or frequency range, just a second. With some objects is provided over here. Here you can see the wavelength scale is like radio waves are having the wavelength. That scale we can compare with the length of the human being or length of the building. Okay, then for gamma rays, whatever is the wavelength, that we can compare with the atomic nuclei. So to provide these images, spatial purpose is there, because in order to study the characteristics of these materials, we can select the radiation type. Like for the study of atomic structure, we can choose the X-rays, because X-rays are having their wavelength as comparable to the dimensions of the atom. Okay, like this, for the study of various kinds of molecules, one can use ultraviolet rays or infrared waves, because their wavelengths and dimensions are getting matched over there. Okay, so like this, for the interaction or for the study of atomic nuclei, gamma rays can be used. Okay, so this is the purpose, to have these images over the radiation type. And here you can see what are the sources. So basically, to get the radio waves, radio stations are available. Microwaves, like the principle that is used in the microwave oven, with the help of that principle, one can generate the microwaves. Then visible waves and ultraviolet rays or infrared waves, to generate that, some electrical circuitry is required. So with the help of that, one can have that rays. Then fluorescence bulb, it emits the visible light that we people can see. Then for the generation of X-rays, various kinds of X-ray machines are used, and that machines again can be used in medical sectors to take the X-rays of various bodies. And through radioactive elements, one can generate the gamma rays. So this is related to the electromagnetic spectrum and electromagnetic waves. If you people are having any doubt up to this, you can ask. We will have 2 minutes for the discussion. Is there any doubt up to this?
No, ma'am.
Is my speed is very fast? Is I'm talking very fast, or whatever I'm explaining, that is very fast for you? Is that so?
Okay, ma'am.
It's okay, no? Then no problem. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So up to this point, we have seen the electromagnetic waves and electromagnetic spectrum, and then of course here on this slide, applications of these things are provided. So related to that, before this lecture, I have posted one link in the EP discussion group. That is my YouTube channel, and I have asked you people to subscribe to that channel. Already some videos related to our content I have posted over there, and of course within this semester also I can upload some other videos. So subscribe to that channel. After this lecture, I'm going to share one link that is related to the video based upon this electromagnetic waves and spectrum and the introduction of optics. So go kindly see that video at first. Next to that, what we are going to do, that will be a practice for our conduction. That after seeing the video, you have to comment in the comment section of that video that one point that you have understood clearly through the video. Okay, So whatever is your understanding with respect to that video, that you are going to put in the comment section. And of course, if you are the subscriber, I can see your name, so I can see who are the students who have seen the video and who have commented. So that will be one kind of assignment which will be helpful for me to give the marks of your responsiveness. Okay, so that is one practice that we people are going to follow for engineering physics course. Now moving towards the first optical phenomenon that we are going to see in this particular chapter, which is nothing but the interference law of light. Okay, so what we are going to understand through the entire unit. So learning objectives of this particular unit are, at the end of this particular chapter, student will able to arrange components of Newton's ring experiment to see the interference pattern. As I said, here the first point is related to the interference of light, and again in interference we are going to understand, we are going to see one experiment that is nothing but the Newton's ring experiment. So after end of this at the end of this particular unit, you can arrange the components of that experiment in a proper manner, and you can generate the interference pattern with the help of that instrument. Okay, and on the same topic we are also having one practical that maybe we are going to deal with next week. Then in that pattern, as I said, this particular experiment is related to the interference pattern that will be a circular one. So with respect to the circles, that interference circles that we can get from the Newton's ring experiment, we are going to calculate the radii of dark and bright rings, and how to do that determination, that you people can see after the explanation of these topics. Okay, then one application we can say, so if you know how is the Newton's ring experiment, what outputs one can get through the Newton's ring experiment. So one of the application is wavelength determination of any of the light. Suppose you are working on any instrument which is having one light source, and for your further study you should know the wavelength of light, but if that wavelength is unknown to you, then that wavelength can be calculated with the help of Newton's ring experiment. So any of the source, its unknown wavelength can be calculated if you know the Newton's ring pattern. So that application we are going to see in this particular unit. Then with respect to liquid medium, if you want to get the refractive index of any liquid, then that calculations are also possible with the help of Newton's ring experiment. So these are the objectives as far as our interference section is concerned. Okay. So to understand the interference of light, first you should know the double slit experiment. So the question is, I have shown you one image. So with the help of that image, or with your basic knowledge, can you explain what is the double slit experiment? And another question, who is the scientist who has given that experiment, who has performed that experiment? So that are two questions. Answers are expected from you people.
Ma'am, his name was Young's something. Young's double slit
Yes,
experiment.
Thomas Young is the scientist who has given the double slit experiment of light. Okay, and what is the explanation of that experiment? How is the experiment? What has been done by that Thomas Young? Clue is provided on the screen. Yes, anybody?
Ma'am,
Yes.
the experiment is performed two narrow slits. असं काहीतरी होतं बघा.
Yes.
Ma'am, can we say its conclusion?
Can we say?
Its conclusion, ma'am. Result.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Ma'am, in the Young's double slit experiment, the monochromatic light is passed through the two holes. In which crest of one wave coincide with the crest wave, the intensity of light at that point is maximum. And at the second condition, in which crest of one wave coincide with the trough of the another wave, the intensity of light at that point is minimum.
Yes. And whatever is the pattern that alternate dark and bright band.
Dark band and light band is known as interference pattern.
Yes, that is nothing but
They
the
are
interference of
fringe
light.
waves.
Yes.
Ma'am, that is also called as fringes, dark and bright fringes.
Yes, dark and bright fringes, and the in combination, whatever is the fringes and all in combination, they are termed as the interference of light. Okay, so that's why to understand the interference of light, one should know what is the Young's double slit experiment. So in Young's double slit experiment, what is done? There will be one monochromatic source of light. So that light from the monochromatic source is passed through two narrow slits of very small dimensions, and that two narrow slits, they acts as an independent source of light, and they emit the further light waves in the atmosphere. Now due to that due to interaction of the light waves generated from two slits, there will be a pattern. How that pattern will be? So here one animation you can see on the screen. Here at one end the source of light is provided, then that source is passing through at first there is a one hole, and next to that you can see two holes are provided over here. Okay, so each slit or each hole acts as a independent source of light, and it emits the light waves in the atmosphere. Now when two light waves, one from say the first slit and one from the other slit, when they interact, there will be a particular kind of pattern. So how will be the interaction? Either the interaction will be trough interaction, crust interaction, or crust of one wave will interact with trough of another wave. As we are saying, there will be a wave. So you can imagine in wave there will be a portion which is having high amount of amplitude, another there will be a low amount of amplitude. So high amount of amplitude is termed as a crust of the wave, low amount of amplitude is termed as the trough of the wave. So whatever is the interaction, there from that interaction there will be generation of alternate bright and dark fringes. Okay, so that bright and dark fringes, here you can see the interaction is provided. Okay, so say a red colored line is nothing but the crust of the wave, and yellow colored line is nothing but the trough of the wave. So the point where the crust interaction is there, or the point where trough interaction is there, so if we have that effect in a combination, you can get bright spot over there. Now the points where there is a crust-trough interaction, crust of one wave is interacting with trough of another wave, so locus of all that point is responsible to get the dark band over there. Okay, so like this alternate dark and bright bands can be seen on the photographic plate. On the screen you can see the alternate bright and dark fringes, and that alternate bright and dark fringes are nothing but the interference pattern. Okay, so basically what is happening over here, so maybe in your 12th you might have seen this particular statement. This statement is related to the principle of superposition of two waves, and that statements tell when two or more light waves overlap with each other, the resultant displacement at that point is equal to the vector sum of instantaneous displacement at that point if each wave is considered alone. Means where there will be a plus interaction, of course the light intensity will get increased over there. If there is a plus minus interaction, light intensity will decrease over there. You have to keep in mind the light intensity that is passed through over here, it is a constant one. Okay, whatever light source we are using, that will emit the constant light intensity, but on the screen you are getting the intensity variations. Some points are there where there will be a maximum intensity, some points are there where there is minimum intensity. So through a constant light source, constant intensity light source, you are getting variation in the light intensity, and that variations are due to the superposition of that two light waves, and how they are superposing with each other, how they are interacting with each other, depending upon that the pattern will be there. Okay, so this particular thing we have seen, whenever there is a interaction, like crust of one wave falls upon crust of another wave, or trough of one wave falls upon trough of other waves, the resultant intensity at that point increases. Okay, and if the case is opposite, then of course the intensity will get decrease over there. So with respect to interference of light, what we can say, the modification in the intensity of light produced by superposition of two or more light waves is called as interference of light. Okay, so whenever most of this time students get confused in the definition of interference of light, students say that superposition is nothing but the interference, but the superposition of two light waves is not an interference. The modification in the intensity of light due to superposition of light waves is termed as interference of light. Okay, so for your reference, write down this definition in your notebook. Hope you people are having one book for the engineering physics course, so whatever are the running notes you can put over there. So this is the definition you have to write down, and then we will see the types of interference. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute for the writing, and don't take screenshots of the slides because for each and every course, if you just take a screenshot, of course that will be of no use. No one looks towards the screenshots, so writing is the better option. Okay, so modification in the intensity of light produced by superposition of two or more light waves is nothing but the interference of light. Okay, and basically from the Young's experiment, you can say there are two types of interference of light. Okay, so one case where there is an increase in light intensity, and another case where there is a decrease in light intensity. So wherever there is an increase in light intensity, one can say that is nothing but the constructive interference, and the decrease in light intensity is responsible to form destructive interference over there. So the interference of light, it is divided into two categories. Two types of interference are there. One is constructive interference, another one is destructive interference. So is there any doubt up to this?
No, ma'am.
So to going towards the Newton's ring experiment, to understand this particular thing, I'll suggest you people are having your 12th textbook with you, maybe at your home. So there are certain things with respect to this Newton's ring experiment that are nothing but the conditions for the brightness and conditions for the darkness. So in your 12th, basically in wave optics, you will see the interference of light. So in that conditions for the interference are given. So if you see that theory part, so that will be helpful for our next lecture. Okay, so I hope in next lecture you will be prepared with that two things, condition for the brightness in the interference pattern and condition for the darkness in the interference pattern. Okay, so moving towards the Newton's ring experiment, in that we have to see how is the experimental arrangement, and then what to do with the pattern generated. And as I said, circular pattern will be there, so we are going to calculate the dark and bright rings radii over here. Okay, so in this experiment, basically light source is selected, and that light source is nothing but the sodium vapor lamp, one example we can say, or basically we need to choose the monochromatic source of light. So one monochromatic source of light, say sodium lamp, is selected over here. Next to that, in that experimental arrangement, there will be a glass plate which is inclined at an angle of 45 degree. Okay, next to that, at the bottom side you can see one glass plate is arranged, and on that glass plate a plano-convex lens is placed. You might have heard the word convex lens. So here
Yes, ma'am.
one special convex lens which is having a convex surface at one side and a plane surface on one side. Such kind of arrangement is known as plano-convex lens. So that plano-convex lens is selected for the Newton's ring experiment. Okay, and of course the entire things are in the air atmosphere. So whatever is the area in between this convex lens and glass plate, that will have the air over there, and as this curvature is very small, so a fine film of air will get generated in between the plano-convex lens and glass plate. So that we have termed as the air film. Okay, a fine layer of air will be there. And at the point of contact, as there will be no amount of air, as the contact is there, so one can say at the point of contact the thickness of air film is 0. And as you can see, if you go from the far end to the point of contact, the thickness of the air film goes on decreasing, and at the point of contact it will have 0 thickness. Then of course a sodium vapor lamp, as we are using, it will propagate light in a straight direction. So with the help of that glass plate which is inclined at an angle of 45 degree, we can change the direction of light waves, and due to that the light waves will go toward the downward side where there will be a plano-convex lens and glass plate. Okay, so due to the interaction of these incoming light rays toward the plano-convex lens and glass plate system, basically there will be a reflection of light. How that reflection, that we are going to see in the next lecture. But the interaction of these light waves with air film and plano-convex lens glass plate system, one can get the interference pattern. Okay, so how that interference pattern looks and how patterns get generated, that we will see in the next week, next lecture. But whatever is the pattern, to observe that pattern, basically here the traveling microscope is used. Okay, so with the help of traveling microscope, one can see the interference pattern, one can measure the radii of interference pattern. So that's why the microscope is used in the entire experiment. Okay, so this is the experimental arrangement for the Newton's ring experiment. So I'll suggest all of you to draw this particular image, and meanwhile I'll take the attendance. Okay, so is there any doubt up to this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so in that case I'll take the attendance. You people draw this particular diagram. Okay, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, roll number 1,
Present, ma'am.
2, roll number 2, 3, 4,
Present, ma'am.
5.
Present, ma'am.
4 is present.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, roll number 3 be present.
Okay. 6, roll number 6, 7,
Present, ma'am.
8,
Present, ma'am.
9,
Present, ma'am.
10,
May I given attendance in the chat box.
okay, 11,
Present, ma'am.
12,
Ma'am, he has given attendance in the chat box. Maruf Ali.
roll number 12,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, 13,
Present, ma'am.
14,
Present, ma'am.
15,
Present, ma'am.
16, 17,
Present, ma'am.
18,
Present, ma'am.
19, 19, 20,
Present, ma'am.
21, 22,
Present, ma'am.
23,
Present, ma'am.
24,
Present, ma'am.
25,
Present, ma'am.
26,
Present, ma'am.
27,
21 present, ma'am.
okay, 27,
21 present, ma'am.
28,
Present, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. 21 present.
okay. So 2, 6, 16 and 19 are the absent roll numbers. Okay. So hope you people have drawn the diagram, and now I'll stop presenting my screen because I would like to see what you people have drawn. Okay. So I have stopped sharing. You can make your camera on and you can share what you have drawn on the paper with respect to Newton's ring experiment. Yes, make your camera on and let me see how you have drawn the Newton's ring experiment. Okay, I can see for Sanika and Pavan. Okay, good, Sanika and Pavan. Okay.
Camera.
Prachi is also sharing. Okay, Prachi. Amit is also sharing. For Siddhi, it is okay. Good.
Ma'am, different.
Yes, Siddhi I can see. Yes, good. Good. What about rest of the students? 23 students I can see, or 22 students I can see over here, and only shared by 5 to 6 students. What about other students? Okay, for Runali I can see, yes, good. Okay, Akib is also sharing, good Akib. Okay, yes. Okay, so those who have not drawn the image, again I'll suggest all of you that in notes I have already provided the notes. In that you can see the image, draw that image, because this is highly required if you perform the Newton's ring experiment. So if you are having the offline examination, then of course a high amount of weightage is given to the Newton's ring experiment. Even in online examination also, most of the questions in unit 1 are related to the Newton's ring experiment, and you can understand the concept that we are going to see next to this if you know the pattern very clearly. Okay, so if the arrangement is clear to you, then only you can understand the further points provided in the syllabus. Okay, so the things related to that you people have seen. Next I would like to show you how the pattern looks in the Newton's ring experiment. Okay, so this we have seen. If you want to have the image in combination, so this is the image: sodium vapor lamp, glass plate, plano-convex lens, plain glass plate, and a traveling microscope. So here you can see the arrangement. Okay, so now we have to see what happens and how the pattern is get generated in the Newton's ring experiment. As I said, the pattern will be a result of light interaction or a reflection of light, and that reflection or interaction will be with respect to plano-convex lens and with respect to air film that is generated in the plano-convex lens glass plate system. So how is the interaction that I will show to you. Say this is our glass plate which we have kept at the bottom side. Okay, so the glass plate which is at the bottom side, it's shown over here. Next to that, we have seen on the glass plate the plano-convex lens is there. The thickness of the air film is decreases as we go from this convex area to the point of contact, and at the point of contact there will be zero amount of thickness. Here on the slide you can see a little bit gap is there, but of course we will try to minimize that gap. Okay, so here you can see at the point of contact there will not be any air, so we can say air film's thickness is 0. Okay, now as we have seen, the light source is emitting light in a straight direction. With the help of that 45-degree glass plate, one can change the direction of propagation of light, and due to that glass plate, the light now will travel in the downward side. Downward side, we know there is a plano-convex lens and glass plate. Okay, so say a light ray AB is incident on the plano-convex lens. Okay, so light ray incident ray is having say name AB is incident on the plano-convex lens. Okay, now as one can see, it is traveling from one medium to another medium. What kind of phenomena will get generated over here, and where you can observe that phenomena? Of course, when light propagates from one medium to another medium, certain kinds of phenomena get generated over there. So what are that phenomena?
Refraction occurs when it passes from one medium to other.
When light passes from one medium to another medium, there will be a refraction. Okay, when light ray incident on the any surface, there will be a reflection. Okay, so that you people know, that is the basics of wave optics. That is nothing but the reflection and refraction. So of course, whenever this light ray AB is incident at this particular point, I'll take the pointer and you can see at this particular point, of course there will be a refraction of light. Okay, and that refracted ray is passed into the, or it penetrates the plano-convex lens and it goes towards the curve area of the plano-convex lens. So at this particular point, again there will be a reflection and refraction of light. Okay, so one reflected ray you can see over here, and then at that point only there will be a refraction. So here you can see the refracted ray that goes toward the glass plate, upper side of the glass plate through the air film, and again at this point also there will be a reflection, and of course further refraction is also possible at this particular place. Okay, but now to understand the interference pattern generated in the Newton's ring experiment, we are going to concentrate on this ray 1 and ray 2. Ray 1 is nothing but the reflected ray from the bottom of the plano-convex lens, and the ray 2, which is the reflected ray from the upper side of the glass plate. Okay, so ray 1 and ray 2 are of interest as per as Newton's ring experiment is concerned. So when these two light rays, like here you can see whatever we have seen in the double slit, Young's double slit experiment, same kind of observations, or you can have the correlation. Like in Thomas Young's experiment, what he has done, he has taken one light source, and again through the same light source he has created two independent sources of light. Okay, two slits he has taken, that slits acts as an independent source of light. So same is the done over here. Here the single light source is divided into two rays, ray 1 and ray 2. Okay, So as this ray 1 and ray 2, they are generated with the help of same incident ray AB. They are monochromatic, they are coherent in nature, and due to interaction of this ray 1 and ray 2 with each other, one can get the interference pattern over here. Like in Young's experiment, what we have seen, whenever a crust trough interaction will be there, there will be a particular modification in the intensity. So same is applicable over here. When this ray 1, which is a reflected ray, and ray 2, which is refracted then reflected ray, so by the combination of this ray 1 and ray 2, interference pattern will get generated over here. Okay, so this is the case that we have given for the single incident ray. But if you observe the figure carefully, see, it is not the case like the sodium vapor lamp will emit a single ray. Of course, whenever you will make that sodium vapor lamp on, so there will be n number of rays. So due to that n number of rays, of course there are there are n number of ray 1 and ray 2. So by the considering all the interactions, by taking locus of all that interactions, the interference pattern will be there, and that interference pattern will look like this. Okay, so if you see the interaction of that ray 1 and ray 2, so whatever are the incident rays on the plano-convex lens glass plate system, so by their interaction you can get the interference pattern, and that interference pattern is like the pattern you can see on the screen. Okay, so how is the pattern? The pattern is the circular one, and if you see carefully, it is having alternate bright and dark bands as said by the Thomas Young. Okay, here also you can get the bright and dark fringes, alternate bright and dark fringes, and basically if you see the central spot or the center of all that fringes is the darker area. So first there will be a darkness, central dark spot will be there. Next to that there will be a bright ring. Next to that, here you can see there is a dark ring, then bright ring, dark ring, bright ring, dark ring, like this. Okay, so this will be the Newton's ring pattern or interference pattern that is generated with the help of Newton's ring experiment. Okay, so this is the thing. Pattern is circular one and it is having the central dark spot. So can anybody tell why at the center one can get the dark spot? Because we know darkness is nothing but the there will be a destructive interference, or the light intensity will be less if the dark spot is there. So can anybody assume or can imagine why there will be a darkness at the central spot? Or do you want to say something up to this, whatever we have discussed related to that? If anybody want to say something, we are having 5 minutes. If you are having any doubt up to this, you can ask. If you are having any confusion, you can ask. And if no confusion, no doubt, it means you have understood all the things whatever I have said. And if understanding is clear from your end, you have to give the answer why there is a dark spot at the central at the center.
Maybe there is the overlap of trough and trough.
Okay.
And at the center there won't be any air film because the lens is in contact with glass plate.
Yes.
So there will be reflection.
Yeah, of course. At the center, what happens actually, whatever light waves strike on the central spot, it just get reflected back. Okay, but while having the reflection, there will be a out of phase interaction. Means if light waves is having a particular phase at the time of incidence, so opposite phase will be there at the time of reflection. And we know if there is a destructive interference, phases are different, means there will be a destructive interference, and the result of destructive interference is nothing but the darkness. Okay, means there will be minimization of light intensity. Light intensity is getting reduced, means there will be a darkness. Okay, so at the point of contact, whatever light incidence that get reflected back, while having the reflection, that reflection is out of phase reflection, and that's why destructive interference will be there, and at the center you will get the dark spot. So that is the explanation as far as this dark spot is concerned. So if you want to say something on this, we can have the discussion. 4 minutes are remaining with us. And basically one confusion might be you people are having, why the pattern is circular one. So that is just due to the plano-convex lens. Okay, so whatever is the interaction, you can see the interaction is highly dependent upon the air film thickness, and that air film thickness is changing due to the curvature of that plano-convex lens. So due to this particular structure and due to the air film or reflection of that light rays through the air film, we can get such kind of pattern, and that will be a resultant of n number of rays that are striking on the plano-convex lens. Okay. So the next point will be the determination of dark and bright rings, but that we will see in the next lecture. So I'll stop presenting my screen. If you are having any doubt up to this, you may ask. If not, then also it will be okay. Is there any doubt from your side?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
then good. We will stop here. In the next lecture, we will see how one can determine the radii, and at the same time we will see the animation with respect to this particular experiment, or how the experiment is happened in the laboratory. That also we are going to see in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you all of you. You may leave the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Same to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Same to you. Same to you.